Godzilla, and we're in the final stretch, y'all. We got the last two Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies until the next one. Presumably, they're making. I don't know if they're making another one. I hope they do. I love this series, but second to last, and this one's just called Leatherface. This is the second origin story of the series. Second to Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning back in 2006. This was a 2017 released film. It's the prequel to the 2013 one and 1974 original, where we figure out how Leatherface becomes Leatherface, essentially. His family is trying to breed him or groom him into being a killer like them, and he's not really with it at first, but he eventually, of course, gets with it. I have a decent bunch to say about this movie. One, this is not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie at all. It doesn't feel like it. You forget halfway through, wait a minute, this is supposed to be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. There is the family here, but it's just, I don't want to explain it. You get a young Drayton Sawyer, a young Nubbins the Hitchhiker, and then you got the mother of all three of them. Because Drayton Sawyer is, their older brother. And then you got Grandpa, of course. So let me tell you the opening of this movie. The family has kidnapped somebody who they call a pig thief, and they want Leatherface or Jed to do the killing blow with none other than a chainsaw. Jed attempts it, but you can tell on his face that he definitely does not want to do this. So he eventually folds and he can't kill the guy with the chainsaw. Which means we gotta leave it to Grandpa, who's not really, he's the best at, he is actually the best at killing. He actually fucking, takes the fucking hammer and fucking bludgeons his head. It's like, no, I'm not trolling. He doesn't need help or anything. He actually bludgeons the guy's head, and he's dead. Like, Grandpa is the best at killing, or he was. Wild. But, after this, Jed leads a girl who we'll find out is the daughter of one of the police officers, or is it the sheriff? I forgot. The sheriff at the time, before Sheriff Hooper in the 2013 one. I don't know if he's a sheriff or not. I don't know, but he's just the cop guy of the father of the daughter that gets led by Jed to her death. The police can't do an arrest because they have no evidence. No matter if Drayton Sawyer smiles in his face, like obviously he's hiding something or he's like fucking suspicious, they just don't have evidence, so they can't arrest nobody. But what they can do is take the kid away. Take the Jedediah kid away, because it's, bad environment. Because they can pretty much say, oh, it's a bad environment for this kid, we can take him away. So they take him to a psych ward. We go many years later. We have no idea who Jed is. So until the last act of the movie, you're pretty much clueless on who Jed is. You got this guy named Bud, which he's a big guy. I'm not going to call him fat. Body shame, it's not right. He's a big dude, He's got, the hair. And you're like, he's definitely Leatherface. Or, you could see him to grow up to believably be Leatherface. The dude barely talks. He doesn't have that much intelligence. I I mean, he doesn't have the exact same body type as Gunnar Hansen or Leatherface in the first movie or whatever, but I could believe it. I could believe it. But as I will tell y'all later, just wait. Then we meet this other guy, Jackson, who really values Bud as a companion, as like a brother figure. He is the only one besides the nurse that is really nice to Bud. And all these guys are crazy. And then we meet this nurse. She is technically our final girl of the movie. She wants to help Jackson and Bud. And then we got these other two. This crazy girl that wants to shove rats down people's throats. And then we got this guy that gets in a fight with Bud for no fucking reason. Or he gets in a fight with Bud because he wanted to do something to the girl and Bud stood up for her. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's what happened. It comes back. Man's out here. The memories come back, fam. So it's these five. The nurse, Bud, Jackson, and the other two. I forgot their fucking names, but yeah. They're really horny. Like, they're fucking, like, every, like, couple hours or something. They literally fucked right in the middle. Or, like, she gave him oral sex in the middle of, like, the hallway of the ward while the prison break was going on. Caused by Jed's mother. Coincidentally enough. Trying to find Jed. But we don't know who Jed is. Because they changed his fucking name. Wow. How convenient. So whoever Jed is, they have their name changed and they have no idea that they're actually Jed. So these five run away from the cops in the psych ward. They plan to go to Mexico because they're in Texas, so Mexico isn't that far. So they plan to start a new life in Mexico if they can get past the border. To get away from the law so they don't have to worry about getting arrested and all that, basically. The guy and the other guy asked Jackson if he has any family that he knows of, and Jackson, he draws a blank. He has no idea who his family is. He says his only family is Bud. And you're like, this dude is definitely Leatherface. Like, it's like it's obvious. You're just thinking, oh, this Bud guy is Leatherface, 100%. I don't know. But, then they, hide out in I think they go to a breakfast place or something, breakfast restaurant, whatever you want to call it. And they decide to shoot it up. Well, the two fucking horn dogs, actually. Jackson and the nurse. And then Bud's outside lookout. Or Bud's not inside, but he's outside. But it's Bud inside. I forgot. But Jackson and the nurse, they're Jackson's like somewhat the most normal dude out of this, which is really concerning. Like, that should have been my clue. Because, like, they're making this guy, oh, he's obviously not Leatherface. Obviously. He's like the most, I mean, obviously he has something wrong with him, but in terms of normality, he just wants to have a normal life, it seems. He tells the nurse that he just wants them to be out here just normal, just on a normal, like, date or whatever it may be. Then the shootout occurs. They shoot the whole restaurant up. Then they hide out in a shack. They look around the shack. The nurse finds a dead body. It's not like, it's like decomposing, but like, it's kind of fresh, but kind of not. I don't know how to explain it. I don't really know, like, the freshness and the decomposing stages to a dead body, because I don't fucking research that shit, nor do I want to. but like it's like slimy and gross, so I guess it's somewhat recent. Somewhat. The nurse lady obviously falls into it and is obviously freaking out. Then later, the two horned dogs are fucking on this corpse. Yes, you heard me correctly. There's necrophilia in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Or do we even consider this a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie? I don't even know, fam. But dang, I thought Leatherface raping his victim. Actually, it's technically the same thing. But at least you didn't fucking see that shit. Here, you actually fucking see it unfold. This is just, I don't even, I have no words can like explain the confusion I am. They're just having sex on this corpse. It's wild. And then, so they have Bud as lookout, so if the cops want to come by. Then the nurse takes this shot to escape, but is caught by Horn Dog Man guy. He's threatening her, tells Bud he's the worst lookout in existence, and said something really horrible that God made a mistake making him or some really, really crazy stuff. But, well, speak for yourself, Mr. Guy. If you were looking out really well, you would have seen Bud coming up behind you while you were taking a leak on the tree. So yes, Bud comes up behind him, knocks him down, brings him to like a branch, like a cut down branch, or a cut down tree, and like the stump, he puts him on the stump. He puts his teeth on it, like have him his whole mouth open. I think you guys get what I'm saying. And he curb stomps Mans. Mans is dead. This is Bud's like second or third kill. I think it's his second. Is it his second? Yeah, I think it's his second. Then Bud just falls asleep on him on the corpse. Then the other girl wakes up, wondering where the hell is her man at. You know how it be. Of course, she's threatening them. Then this is when the police arrive, and said cop of the daughter comes in and gets her. Of course, the girl is talking shit about the dead daughter. It enlightens some anger into the cop. The cop shoots her. She's dead. She done. She dead. Now it's just down to Bud, the nurse, and Jackson. They somehow have to hide, but the nurse goofily sees the cops on the bridge, and she yells for them, and the cop thinks that they found them. Then the cop is about to shoot them, but then Bud rushes in, punches him, and this is where the most shocking thing happens in the movie. Well, it shouldn't be, but it is at the same time. Bud gets killed. You're like, wait a minute. Wasn't this guy supposed to be Leatherface? He's dead. Bud's dead. It's GG. And then something changes in Jackson after this point. He brutalizes the said cop that shoots Bud. It's not the cop of the. It's not the father of the daughter that got killed in the first part of the movie. No, it's not him, but a different cop. So they steal his car, and of course, more cops are on the way. Jackson gets shot in the mouth. He gets shot in the mouth, permanently disfiguring his face. Wild. And he can barely speak, barely do anything at this point. It's limiting his speech bad. So then, that's when it hit me. This Jackson guy is definitely Leatherface / Jedediah Sawyer. Then The nurse gets shot, and then she crashes. Yeah, pretty much. They get into a crash. Jed's taken out. The nurse uses the radio of said crashed car she's in to try to call for help. Another cop, who would later bribe the Sawyer family, saying where their son is. Then the crazy cop of the daughter drags the nurse out of the car and into the barn. Into the barn where it all happened. Where the murder of the daughter happened. She goes, "Jackson, are you okay?" And then this is where it's revealed. That ain't Jackson. That's good old Jedediah Sawyer. And I'm like, oh, okay. That really doesn't make any logical sense for what we know about Leatherface, but okay. Cook. Let's see. No, I'm gonna let him cook. The family arrives. They jump cop dude, man. And they kidnap the nurse, too. They're wondering, how are they gonna make Jed realize that he's Jed and not Jackson, and he's actually part of their family? And then Mama Carson, or Mama Sawyer, she knows exactly what will jog his memory, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about. The good old faithful chainsaw. It jogs his memory after she puts a protection on his face to like cover up or like make the wounds heal or whatever. Put his face pretty much back together, pretty much. He comes out with the chainsaw. The cop says a few words. Mans gets chainsawed to death. So that's GG to Cop Man guy. I mean, he's an asshole, so can't really blame him. And then it's time for him to kill Nurse Girl. And he's hesitant at first because he's grown quite a bond with said Nurse Girl, which gives her the opportunity to run away. Not jumping out the window, surprisingly, which has pretty much happened in every Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She runs out the front door. Nubbins and Drayton Sawyer chase after her, with Jed/Leatherface following close behind. She's almost successfully hiding, but it seems like they know where she is. Leatherface finds her. He's about to do the finishing blow, and then she seemingly almost talks him out of it, saying, "This isn't you. All I wanted to do was help you." And it seems like it's getting through to Jackson or Jed or Leatherface or whoever the fuck this guy is. Then she says something really goofy that fucked everything up. "It's your crazy mother." And as soon as that, a switch flipped off and Jed, he chops her fucking head off. Damn! And finally, Jed made his family proud. He did the deed that he should have done in the opening. And we end the movie with Jedediah Sawyer making his first human face mask. Of course, it's the said nurse's face. Gotta put a little lipstick on it. You know, classic Leatherface. Classic. And then the movie ends with Jedediah Sawyer in his new human face mask smashing a mirror. And that is Leatherface 2017, folks. So what are my thoughts on it? One, as a horror movie, if we're like talking about a horror movie that's not part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, I would say it's alright. Not horrible, not bad, not the best, not on the levels of the goats. But I'd say it's a pretty decent horror movie. But we have to talk about it in terms of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. And in terms of that, it falls so short. I understand what they were trying to do. Tell the origin story of Leatherface. But they did it in the completely wrong way. You're telling me Leatherface, Mr. Dude from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, didn't know how to speak to a woman that he liked? Successfully flirted with a nurse? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. There's just no way, Mero. There is just no way. So, what would I rate this movie? In terms of it being a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, I would have to give it a 5 out of 10. Unfortunately, it just doesn't hit the mark. Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning is miles better than this movie. That one feels like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, where this doesn't. So, people say this is the superior origin story for Leatherface. I disagree wholeheartedly. Disagree. 5 out of 10. Well, we're getting close, guys. We got one more. The Netflix 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'll see you guys in a bit. See you for that review.